Welcome to Shakespeare FC, the Sonnets, a 5-minute journey into the iambic opinations on life, love, death, and desire, with a smattering of nature and naughtiness, from the mind of our literary epicure from Warwickshire, or, as you become more familiar, Uncle Will. I'm your host, Kari Marshall. In his sonnets, Uncle Will wrote from a very personal place about the human condition, all in just 14 lines. But in that meager space, we can find an absolute wealth of human experience that you just might identify with. So, let's you and I go on a little journey. Today, Uncle Will seems intent on handing out some advice to his fair youth. It's not entirely clear what incident has brought on this stern little talking to, but it is clear that William is none too happy about whatever it is. Uncle Will decides to jump straight in with both feet with the first quatrain, saying how sweet and lovely the young man makes this shameful behavior appear that is spoiling his reputation, and, returning to his floral metaphor, says this behavior is like disease that blights a fragrant rose, with his beautiful exterior covering up the sins that lurk inside.
How sweet and lovely dost thou make the shame, which, like a canker in the fragrant rose, doth spot the beauty of thy budding name. Oh, in what sweets dost thou thy sins enclose.
In the second quatrain, there seems to be a little bit of the backhanded compliment to Will's words, or a bit of envy, perhaps. In any case, he says that even when the young man is talked about, people discussing his lustful behavior, they just cannot seem to help themselves from couching their criticism in the language of praise. It seems to Will that the mere mention of the fair youth's name makes awful behavior appear good.
That tongue that tells the story of thy days, making lascivious comments on thy sport, cannot dispraise, but in a kind of praise, naming thy name blesses an ill report.
In the third quatrain, Uncle Will decides to make himself as clear as possible, as if the diseased flower metaphor was a bit ambiguous, by imagining our fair youth as a beautiful mansion, where vices have made their home. A place where an outward veneer of beauty covers over every vice and sin, making everything appear virtuous and noble.
Oh, what a mansion have those vices got, which for their habitation chose out thee, where beauty's veil doth cover every blot, and all things turns to fair that eyes can see.
In the final couplet, a warning. Uncle Will urges the young man to be ever so careful of this immense privilege he has, because even the hardest of knives will dull if used for the wrong purpose.
Take heed, dear heart, of this large privilege. The hardest knife, ill-used, doth lose his edge.
Uncle Will's warning to his fair youth, though not specific, does seem to indicate that the youth's lustful ways have become a bit of a talking point with some members of society. And though Uncle Will says that the boy's obvious beauty to all seems to influence how people gossip about his questionable behavior in positive terms, he likens his sins to a disease growing within a beautiful flower. Uncle Will says, perhaps with a little innuendo, that a hard knife will grow dull with misuse. We may not know for certain what our beautiful youth has gotten up to, or down to, mayhap, but I think we can guess. Naughty boy. Well, alas and alack, my friends, that is all we have time for. Join us again next time for another hopefully informative journey into the mind of Uncle William. I'm Kari Marshall. Farewell until next time. Shakespeare FC is a production of WGTE Public Media. You can learn more and download all episodes at wgte.org/sfc or wherever you get your podcasts.